3-7, the metric system. Okay, today's objective is to recognize metric units of measure and to convert metrics. The metric system is a decimalized system of measurement. Since the 1960s, the International System of Units, SI for short, has been the internationally recognized standard metric system. Metric units are widely used around the world for personal, commercial, and scientific purposes. A standard set of prefixes in multiples of 10 may be used to derive larger and smaller units. The Mars Climate Orbiter, in 1999, NASA lost a $125 million Mars orbiter because one engineering team used metric units while another used U.S. customary units for calculation. Currently, the only 3 countries that are using our system of measurement are ourselves, Liberia, and Myanmar. Metric distance. The base unit for distance is the meter. It's a little longer than a yard, and it's about the width of a sidewalk. If you take a meter and cut it up into 10 parts, you have the decimeter, which is DM for short, and it's 1/10 of a meter, and that's about the length of a pin. I actually think that's a little bit long, but it's close enough. You have your centimeter, which is 1/100th of a meter, and that's about the width of your pinky finger, so right about there. If you take your meter stick and cut it up into 1,000 pieces, you have your millimeter, and your millimeter is about the thickness of a dime. I got a dime here somewhere, so I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to go in real close and zoom out. So that's your millimeter. Then we're going to go the larger route, and the decameter, short for, and the abbreviation is DAM. That's 10 meters, and that's about the width of the classroom. A hectometer is 100 meters. And that's about the distance from one side of the school to the other if you don't count the fields. And then you have your kilometer, which is 1,000 meters, and that's about 6/10 of a mile. Okay, the 4 that I'd like you to focus on are millimeter, centimeter, meter, and kilometer. Those are the ones that you're going to see the most in America. So using only those 4, which would be the best suited for the following measurements? The length of a limousine. If you chose meter, I think that's an excellent choice. The distance to the nearest post office. Would you use millimeter, centimeter, meter, or kilometer? Hopefully you'd use kilometer. The height of a person. I think there's 2 possible answers here. Centimeters, I think, is probably the best, but I've also heard meters used, so you could choose either or. The diameter of a penny, millimeters would definitely be the best one for that. The width of a footprint. So how wide is your foot? So if you have your foot there, what's the measurement? I would say centimeters. Next, the thickness of a glass mirror. So how thick is a mirror? And millimeters would be the best choice for that. Metric conversions. This is where I really think metrics kind of shines and way overdoes our system of measurement. If we start with 32.5 meters and we want to know how many kilometers, it's helpful to remember the following phrase. Kids hate doing math during cold mornings. And basically, the first letter of each of those words is the first letter of our units. So we have kilometers, H for hectometers, D for decameters, M for meters, D for decimeters, C for centimeters, and M for millimeters. So based on that, if we're going from meters to kilometers, then we're going to go 1, 2, 3 spots to the left. So we're going to take our decimal point and go 1, 2, 3 spots. Remember, if you move some spot and you don't have enough digits, you add a 0, then you put your decimal point. So we end up with 0.0325 kilometers. Try this one. 4.9 kilometers equals blank centimeters. So we're going from, again, remember, kids hate doing math during cold mornings. So I'm going from kilometers to centimeters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to move 5 spots, not 5 zeros. Be careful. I'm moving the decimal point. I'm not adding zeros. I'm moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I move the decimal point, then if necessary I add the zeros, and you end up with 490,000. Now these are kind of the same, although they look a little bit different. Again, we're going to do kids hate doing math during cold mornings. So if I start with 6.01 meters and I end up with 6,010 of something, what units do I have? Well, start with meters. How far over do you move the decimal point? You're basically moving it from behind the 6 to behind that second 0, so 3 spots. So that would be 3 spots to the right would give me millimeters. Would you try the other 4 problems and see if you can get the right unit? So this would be a time to pause the video. Okay, hopefully you're done. And now I've got number 2 to the right. It's 0.14 kilometers, and I have 140. So my decimal was in front of the 1. It's now behind that 0, so it moved 3 to the right. So if I move 3 to the right, that makes it meters. Number 3 with 8 centimeters. It was behind the 8. It moved 2 spots to the left. So 2 spots from centimeters puts me at meters again. 0.03 kilometers, I moved, looks like 4 spots, so I believe that should be decimeters. Number 5, I moved 3 spots to the left, so 3 spots to the left puts me at decameters. Now, we want to do, this is what we originally started doing, so again, we need to remember kids hate doing math during cold mornings. And if I start with decimeters and I go to decameters, that's 2 places to the left. Oh, I'm sorry. You go ahead and solve it, but I already gave you half the answer. So move 2 places to the left, and then do the others on your own and see if you can get the answer. So for number 6, I pretty much gave you the answer. It's 9.05. For number 7, we have 18 kilometers. That's on the far left, and we're going to hectometers, which is just 1 to the right. So that's going to give me 180. 34 centimeters, going to millimeters, so centimeters, I find that. And I go to millimeters, which would be 1 to the right, so that should be 340. Number 9, I'm at centimeters. I'm going to meters, that's 2 to the left. Centimeters, oh, I'm sorry, I went backwards on that. I did that wrong. I have 17 meters. I'm going to centimeters, so that's 2 to the right. That's 1700. Got confused because they put the blank first. So let's be careful on number 10. I have 21.6 kilometers. I'm going to meters, so I'm going 3 to the right. So that looks like it should be about 21,600. Yep. Now the nice thing about metric weight and metric volume is that they use the same prefixes as distance. So I have the gram, and that's about the weight of a paper clip. Decigram is 1/10 of a gram, so imagine cutting a paper clip up into 10 pieces. Centigram, take that paper clip and cut it up into 100 pieces. And milligram, imagine cutting it up into 1,000 pieces. Then you have your decagram, 10 grams, so 10 paper clips. Hectogram, 100 paper clips. And kilogram, 1,000 grams. That's about 2.2 pounds, so a little bit, almost 2 1/4 pounds. Volume, same idea. You have your liter, and we've all seen liter bottles of water. Deciliter is 1/10 of a liter. Centiliter, 1/100th of a liter. And milliliter, 1/1000th of a liter. Getting larger, deciliter, 10 liters. Hectoliter, 100 liters, kiloliter, 1,000 liters. And that's basically your metric weight and volume. So if we practice those, we need to remember, still remembering our same phrase, which is nice. Kids hate doing math during cold mornings. Now we're going to put grams and liters in the same spot as the meters because they are our base units. So for number 1, we have 34 decigrams, and we're going to grams. So find decigrams, find the D, then we're going to go to the left one spot, so that should be 3.4 grams. Number 2, 7 liters, that's in the middle. I'm going to kiloliters, so I'm going 3 to the left, so that should be 0.007 kiloliters. 630 milliliters to liters, 3 to the left, gives me 0.63 liters. 91 hectograms to centigrams, going 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right, so that should be 910,000 centigrams. And that does it for our metric system. If you have any questions, please let me know. I want you to post that you watched the video on Edmodo. So that's going to be part of your grade, and I didn't tell you that, but post that you watched the video. That's a requirement. I'm going to be looking to see that. I want to see when you watched it. Thank you very much. Goodbye.